So good morning, everyone. I welcome you, all the participants for the second session for the day one of Atal FDP. It is a great honor of welcoming our resource person, Dr. J. Devishri Madam. She is professor of Department EEE, Coimbatore Institute of Technology, Coimbatore. She had completed his BE, Electrical and Electronics Engineering, and she completed her ME in the field of Applied Electronics, and she completed her doctoral degree in Electrical Engineering in the specialization of Power Systems. Her teaching experience is about 23 years, and she has produced 8 PhD scholars, and now four is pursuing PhD under the guidance of Dr. J. Devishri Madam. She has visited in the international conference ICBEC conducted by CBEES and IEEE held at Hong Kong in the year 2010 December. She chaired a session and also she presented a paper. She has published 45 international journals and she has presented 45 papers in national and international conferences. She has presented 17 guest lectures and she has organized 11 workshops and FTPs. She was a reviewer in 2 international journals and she have attended 14 workshops and 23 short-term courses. With such a huge experience in academic side, we are very much happy to have you as a resource person, madam. Thank you, ma'am. I welcome you once again, ma'am. Now I hand over the session to Dr. J. Devishri, madam.
Madam, thank you very much for your introduction. First of all, good morning to all the professors. In spite of your busy schedule, you have chosen a topic which is currently a very useful one in this upcoming era. And here, since I have seen all your names and your experiences, many were doctorates and many people were pursuing it. So mine is a very basic one. Again, repeatedly, we no need to give more details about the theory part since every textbook is having that. Just we will discuss a simple idea, that is everybody is now ready to move to that electric vehicles, and based on this, what are all the concepts available and how we can challenge to this country in order to stop the polluting it or emission of this greenhouse gases, and how to overcome this. That too, the petrol prices were day by day, it is increasing like in a faster rate, and how to overcome this and how this battery or electric vehicles will support to our daily needs. So we'll see some of that points. Now I'll share the slides. Yes, just since they have given an opportunity for me for 2 sessions, in the morning session we'll see about what are all the types of electric vehicles now in the market it is there, and next part of it is what are all that motors we have studied, since many people were electrical engineers in this forum, and what are all the motors we studied in our school days and day-to-day applications we are using, so that we can implement them, and what are the characteristics, how it is adapted to this particular application of this electric vehicles, we can see in that. So coming to an introduction part of it, yes, we all know that energy is the single most important challenge faced by the humanity today. Lot of messages we are seeing, many papers, newspapers and many newsletters and all, we are coming to see that oil field is depleting, gas is very limited, and coal life is also keep on day by day it is decreasing. So definitely we need an alternate, we need to move for a renewable energy sources. So now government is giving more importance to the green energy, and it is asking us to how the green energy challenges we need to overcome in order to face this energy demand. This is the main thing we need to see. Yes, Now, what happens whenever we move to a normal house construction plan, if we give it in the government office, what the government has given that main constraint they are seeing for that, is there a provision of solar water heater in your plan? Show me that provision. Previously, they were asking about rainwater harvesting is there in your plan, you show, then the plan approval process will be moved. Now, what is the next stage they have moved? Show me the where you are installing your solar water heater. That provision also you intimate or indicate in your plan. Then only it is given to the approval. This is a basic need rule they are giving. Similar way, if we are constructing a multi-storage building or any industries, whatever it is, if they are ready to take so many HPEB line, means the government first and foremost one what they are asking is to give the license to that industry. Please show me how much energy you are able to produce to support to the grid or to support to the community. Then we will give so many HP lines. So now here, if we take, since I am in the Coimbatore belt, I am telling, already long back, more than 60 years, the industries were here. Many industries, that is LMW, a famous industry group is there, and many spinning mills were here. They and all, in those days, they didn't give any ideas about this renewable energies. Whatever the energy from the grid, they had their own premises, the transformer. From there, they started their work. But today, based on this new rule, they are ready. They have purchased the lands which is away from the city, where we are getting that Palakkad near the Kerala state, that Palakkad Pass wind belt, and they have installed a windmill. Thereby, they are also able to generate energy and return back to the grid. At least whatever you are using, some amount of energy you need to replace it. If it is not so, now the government again they have given a new rule. Private sectors were implementing in acres of land using the solar PV system. These industries or commercial building people who have constructed inside that city, they need to purchase from them for lease. That is that plant they are paying the rent. Thereby from that solar plant the power generation is given to the grid. So this is the next step what the government has taken. So now what it is, each and every individual needs to generate an energy, at least a part of it what they are using. That is the present situation of in order to meet this energy demand. Coming to this, why this is needed, what is the importance of this is, first of all, we are importing the petroleum products. Yes, it is a first and foremost one. Since the price in the last few weeks, we can see what is the hike in that it is given. Now, the second one is depleting of fossil fuels. The third most important one is low calorific value of Indian coal. And now, because of this, we are importing the coal from Indonesia and Australia. Why it is so is, our calorific value of Indian coal is not sufficient in order to use the thermal energy for power generation. So that after pulverization, we check the calorific value of the coal, it should be a high, then only it can withstand the heat and the superheated steam will be produced. So that is the next one. And even though the government already they have launched subsidized energy cost for domestic and agriculture consumers, since till today we are giving for agriculture land people, they can pump water from that river for so many hours per week in a free of cost. So even though all this, and for 100 units in domestic, it is free of cost. After 100 units only, they are charging. Even though we have given so many things, but still here this energy in the conventional system is lagging. Thereby, we need to move to an alternate, not only in that energy demand, also in your this, because of this hike in the fuel cost, we need to move to the alternate vehicles also. So coming to with this short introduction, if we move to this electric vehicle system, we can see that here, what is an electric vehicle, its importance, and how it is internal combustion engine, it is modified into an electrical system. Next is what are all the types of electric vehicles available. Next, what type of being an electrical forum in this, we need definitely to, mechanical people are also here. So we need to definitely know what is the type of motor to be suited with its characteristics and performance. Thereby it can used for this specific application. So based on all this, we can see a small introduction and how this process is going on in the morning session alone. In the afternoon, we will see about how these batteries are used, what are all the standard specifications it is given, and what is the government steps they have taken to provide safety precautions and fire safety measures for this vehicle. All these measures we will see it in that. Next, coming to this, now first and foremost, what is that introduction is? Our conventional system, what we need, we know that here it is a petrol tank, that is internal combustion engine. And from the petrol tank through the fuel will be given to this path, and here the engine will be there, where the crankshaft is there. With the help of it, the engine is started, and from there we are able to produce the energy to the vehicles in order to rotate. Whereas in the case of your electric vehicle, that complete that fuel tank system itself is replaced with the help of this battery system. So we are fixing the battery in order to charge it, where that electrical energy is given to the motor in order to drive the system. We can see this normal exists, which is in the market, that internal combustion engine, the fuel is given, fuel tank is there, then the system fuel pipeline, from there to transmission it is there. For starting, we will have a prime mover, exciter or a battery, it is there. And all this in that dashboard we can see complete electronic module control system will be there, where automated systems are used. But even though with all this, now if we move to the electric vehicle, see this complete fuel system is replaced with the power bank, that is your battery system. From there it is given that to the battery, the charging, how you are giving to the UPS the charger, or your mobile phone we are giving, so the charging port we are giving. From there it is given to this transmission system, where you are having your electric motor, a DC to DC converter. To this also you are having a radiator, a cooling system, whatever it is as such. So with this, we can see that what is that importance or uncertainties concerning the electrical vehicles is electrification is a reality, yes, but there is a wide range of uncertainties that can accelerate more or less the development of the competitiveness of the electric vehicle. The main reason is why still it is coming to the market, it is in a slow processes. First we need a grant, it is there. Next, the battery cost to install in an UPS in our home itself with a single battery. We are thinking so many things. What is the cost? How much it will take from the EB? What will be the EB bill increase in it? Or how many lights and fans can it glow with us? All this we are able to see. Next is the raw material availability for manufacturing of these batteries we need to see. Next one is what is the investment? If we are going to an electrical vehicle, how much cost it is, how many times the cost is increased for it, raw material cost of it, profitability. Wow, what is the, how many years it will take to give the profit or payback period, whatever it is. Next, in certain places, we are telling fuel ban on cities. That is, if in our country's capital itself, if we take the capital city, there no diesel vehicles are allowed because of this pollution or emission process of it. So only petrol vehicles are available. So many constraints they have given there in that capital city. Next, consumer concerns. Now in capital city, they are forcing to bring with the help of the electric vehicle to stop the fuel vehicles. In future, definitely that will be a rule in the places where thickly populated, no fuel vehicles are allowed, only electric vehicles are allowed to give permission will be granted to that. Now, coming to this electrical vehicles, what are all that types if we take means, we can see that one is of battery electric vehicle, second one is of hybrid electric vehicle, third one is plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. In this itself, a small difference in that we are having this plug-in part. Then the fourth is the fuel cell electric vehicles. In this first, we will see what is that battery electric vehicles it is done. See, this is our IC engine, combustion engine. Fuel from the tank is given to the engine. From that engine, the mechanical energy is given to the transmission to the wheels. Whereas here, instead of this fuel tank, you are having a battery. From the battery, the electric charge is given to the motor generator set. From there, it is given to the system in order to propel. But why we are giving importance to this electric vehicles is the main advantage if we take no tailpipe emission. That is, there is no emission of gases. No fuel is burnt. Right. Next, here definitely the pollution part is there. And utility is completely, in this case, it is based on your company's arrangement, how it is done. If you charge once completely, it will take to up to 100 kilometers or miles per range it will take. But only this is a short range, whereas your internal combustion engine, once you fill the fuel tank, you can reach up to 300 to 400 kilometers, depending upon the capacity of that vehicle's fuel tank. Next, it will take some 2 hours. In normal, your mobile phone, when you put your charge, immediately we can see that instruction, 1 hour, 20 minutes it will take to complete the charge. Like that, here also, this is a battery with a high rating. It takes a few hours to recharge it. Whereas here, only it will take minutes to fill the petrols in the system. But if you come to the cost wise, it is only 2 cents per mile. Whereas here, it is more than 12 cents per mile it is there. So fuel cost here in this case, it is an electricity stored in the battery, it is less. Whereas your petrol gasoline engines, it is very high in this case. So coming to this first battery electric vehicles, what is the name itself it is? It is the only vehicles with only the batteries to provide power to the drive the train is known as battery electric vehicles. That is, that complete locomotive is run with the help of the power stored in the battery. So this is that is the BEVs have to rely solely on, that is, it has to depend solely on the energy stored in their battery packs. Therefore, the range of such vehicles depends directly on the battery capacity. So typically they can cover 100 to 250 kilometers on one charge. The battery electric vehicles on the market today generally go around to 60 to 80 miles per charge, though a Tesla can travel over 200 miles on a single charge. That is the company they have launched the vehicle. And the recent survey is found that this battery electric vehicle's range of 60 miles would fit the weekday driving, and it needs for 69% of the drivers. That is, mostly if we take ourselves itself from our house to our workstation, that premises we reach, it will be within 60 kilometers only, nearly 30 to 40 kilometers at the most, or otherwise below 10 kilometers only it will be there. So if we charge that vehicle, it will come for 1 week, the charge will be there. We can use it. So comparatively to the fuel cost, if we move to this, yes, it is cheaper. But only thing, the capital cost is high in this case. Then, in this continuation of this battery electric vehicles, certain companies, that Nissan companies, Fiat companies and all, they have fall into this category. Now they have started manufacturing the battery cars itself, and they were able to successfully launch it in the market also. So these vehicles has no gasoline engine, and also longer electric driving ranges. It is that compared to this plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, and never produce tailpipe emissions. In this case, as battery technology continues to improve, this battery electric vehicles range will extend even further, offering an even larger number of drivers the option of driving exclusively on electricity. So think of this positioning of this battery in this vehicle. It no needs any extra compartments and all. Only it is given like your fuel tank underneath of the seats. It is given. From there, through that emission system, we are moving transmission system. We are giving it to the motor. From motor, it is given to the mechanical output. So this is the normal block diagram of the battery electric vehicles. We are having an electric propulsion subsystem where we are having a electronic controller, power converter, then electric motor is there with mechanical transmission to the wheels. This we know. From this energy source, we are refueling the unit of energy, and it is given to the energy management unit with energy source, whatever the battery charging capacity we are putting it. Whereas you need an auxiliary power supply and a power steering unit with a temperature control. This is auxiliary subsystem. Whether we need, definitely we are using all the electronic control devices. Definitely we need to maintain the temperature. The thermal stability has to be maintained. So each and every part of the, even though you provide heat sink or to that electronic devices, we need to maintain the temperature in order to safeguard that PC boards or the circuits in the system. So the next from the battery, the normal inverter circuit is used. As we are electrical engineers, if we move to this to improve the efficiency of the system, only in the inverter side we can give our techniques or our ideas how to make this electric motor drive to work with the system. So either it will be a single gear or a differential one. From there, see normal battery circuit, one inverter, with that it is given to a motor. From there it is given to the driving wheel per circuit. This is the normal battery vehicle process. Now coming to the next step of it, that is hybrid electric vehicles powertrain. Here what it is used is both in this case. The power units, if you take as the name itself, it is a hybrid. Here it needs either fuel cells or conventional internal combustion engines. So energy storage here is batteries or flywheels. Propulsion unit is your electric motor and your drive shaft. And your control module you are having in this case. So a vehicle that has two or more energy conversion technology combined with one or more energy storage units. Normally, before this, about 10 years before and all, it was very popular to make the vehicle to run with gas. So LPG gas stations are like the petrol bunks, gas filling stations were there. The vehicle is moved there. Automatically, the gas is filled in the gas tank, like your fuel tank, where the cylinder. Then it is made to run. So once, if it is the gas level is decreasing, automatically how the petrol intimation is given, like that, that the dashboard meters will intimate it. One case is that. Suppose if for longer traveling, if that is not sufficient, automatically when the gas level decreases, it immediately asks, that intimation will be there in the dashboard, and it asks us to switch over to the internal combustion engine. So already this hybrid system is there. Now instead of this gas engine, now we are moving to the hybrid electric vehicle system. So hybrid electrical energy is there, IC engine is also there. Both together the combination is here. So hybrid electric vehicles employ both an internal combustion engine and the electric powertrain to power the vehicle. So it uses the electric propulsion system when the power demand is low. It is a great advantage in low speed conditions like urban areas. And it also reduces the fuel consumption as the engine stays totally off during idling. That is the main thing. What is the advantages? Suppose in urban areas and all we are moving, where the slow speed we need to have maintained and we can't frequently change the gears and all, this electrical vehicle, that electrical engine is supportive. Thereby we can increase or decrease the speed according to it, and we can maintain the load speed. Whereas in an internal combustion engine, if the vehicle is moving with low speed, not real to its rated speed, means the efficiency of the system will be less, fuel consumption will be more. Then we will tell in this areas the mileage is very less. Only in the long drive in the areas we go, the mileage will be good. That is the reason for this. So in that cases and all, this hybrid electric vehicle, electric system is very much useful in this. So coming to this discussion, the objectives, if we take the main one is, the first one is maximize the fuel economy. Definitely in this case, because mainly we are making it to run with the electricity itself. Minimize fuel emission. Fuel usage is very less, so automatically the fuel emission, the green gases which pollute the atmosphere is reduced. Now minimize the propulsion system cost to keep affordable. Next is maintain acceptable performance with a reasonable cost, and also reduce the conventional car weight. Yes, it is reduced in this case. So coming to this system, hybrid electric vehicle configuration, how it is done is, it is the batteries were arranged in its connection. If normally in electricity means we will say two combinations. One is of serial arrangement, then the next alternate is of parallel connection. So either one it will assist. So if you connect it in series, the power assist is done in this case. If you connect it in parallel, the arrangement of these batteries, then we can tell it is a range extender. Any of this combination, it can work if it is in that mode, dual mode, then combination of series and parallel can be utilized. In the series configuration, if we take, we can see the small fuel burning engine that directly drives an alternator to generate electricity is kept. Thus, next is electricity is stored in the battery or sent to the electric motor. When batteries are drained to a certain level, the engine turns on and recharges the battery. That is why we will say normally while driving in the cars and all, turn off the lights when you switch off the car. Otherwise, the battery will go down, we will tell. So that battery, when the vehicle is running, if you can change from brighter light to dimmer light or to the fog light, whatever it is, automatically by the help of this back-to-back energy conversion technique from the motor which is making to propel the vehicle, automatically the energy is generated and based on that the power is stored in the battery. Thereby we can increase it. That is the recharging capacity in this case. Coming to the parallel combination, here two power perks is required. Hybrid power unit or electric propulsion system or both can power the wheels. For long trips, the engine, IC engine is used, and with for hills or acceleration where high power scenarios are there, the electric motor is used, where you need to give more energy in order to make the vehicle to propel against gravity. In such cases, we are using it for electric system. We are not moving to the fuel gasoline system in order to make the energy to gas fuel to use economically. So propulsion comparison and its benefits if you take, we can see in series configuration means the engine never idles, reducing emissions. The engine drives a generator to run at optimal performance. Next, allow a variety of options in mounting the engine. Then it doesn't need a transmission of the system. Whereas in the case of the parallel combination, it has more power from simultaneous power motor and engine. So it is not needed a separate generator because the motor generates to the battery itself. So power is directly coupled to the road. So it can be more efficient in this case. Coming to based on this, what is the braking system used in your hybrid electric vehicle system and what are all its advantages compared with the conventional electrical system if IC engines is? The very first one is regenerative braking. We all know what is the importance of regenerative braking and how it is implemented. Next is reduction in engine and vehicle weight. Normally, if the vehicle weight is reduced, automatically the efficiency of the system will be increased. And fuel efficiency is increased in this case. Emissions are decreased because you are moving with the hybrid electric vehicle. We are not making it to run with fuel with all the times. And cut emissions of global warming pollutants by 1/3 or half. In that level, it is reduced. Reduce the dependency of fossil fuels. Some states offer incentives with owning an hybrid electric vehicle. Yes, to that if they are telling no, if you have your solar system previously and all, while paying the EB bill, they will tell if you have your PV solar water heater in your house means 5% subsidy from the EB bill. This was implemented by the government before 10 years. But nowadays, since each and every it is a must they have given, they did initially the government itself took many steps to encourage this public customers, thereby the consumers, thereby to save this fuel cost. Next is it is approximately 2 times more efficient than the conventional engines, your hybrid electric. And also you can see if you purchase electrical vehicle means automatically the government itself offer you incentive by reducing its price or on the tax or whatever it is benefit they are giving it in order to promote this importance of this electric vehicle system to the public. Because once a public means if the customer is satisfied with the newly launched product, that is your electrical vehicle, then he will be the publicity to his neighbor. Once they are satisfied with all the constraints, it is equivalent to your conventional IC engine. Yes, in the what is the satisfaction criteria here? The speed, then the maintenance cost. If both were reduced, means automatically, then we can tell that this system is also good. Like your conventional IC engine, we can go faster in this engine with this electric motor also, and also not like conventional engine, the maintenance or service it takes more cost. It is very simpler one. Why in service we are telling it makes more cost in IC engines is complete lubrication process and oil, since the pipeline gas fuel pipeline it is there, it has to be completely cleaned. The deposits or the emission of this gases, the byproducts has to be cleaned. The fly ashes, minute dust particles where it is stored in the engine, in order to reduce the engine efficiency, has to be cleaned. Whereas coming to your battery system or your electric vehicle system, only the electric motor generator set is there, which is connected from the powertrain. There is no emission of the pollutant gases. Thereby, the engine is no need to maintain it. It is run with the help of your motor generator set. And this is your direction of power flow during the starting and when it is stopped. How we need to give more importance for starting. So we are taking the internal combustion engine, with the help of that, the internal motor, we are making it to start and produce. Here, direction of power flow during passing or braking or cursing in that case. Passing means while making a smooth run, in that time how the energy is taken from it, and during the braking, the regenerative braking system, what happens to it, it is given back to the battery, the system is used. Next, what are all the challenges it is faced in your hybrid electric vehicle? Is the energy storage devices with high power to energy ratios. Next, frequent shutdown and startup of the hybrid electric vehicle. That is, since we are telling it is mainly used in urban areas where you need to stop in between within the distance or in few meters itself. Next is reduce the size, weight, and cost in this case. Thereby, efficiency is improved. And in your advanced configuration for the propulsion of this system components are used. So, coming to this control logic between your internal combustion engine and your electric vehicle is, we can see how the driver command interpreter is there, and from there driver power command it is given to the controller. From the controller it is given to the generator power and scaling factor, where it is connected to an IC engine or an electric motor power. From there it is given, the output is taken and utilized. The next advanced version of your hybrid electric vehicle is plug-in hybrid electric vehicle case. What is the main concept of this is extended to all electric range of hybrid electric vehicles is your plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. That is, it uses both internal combustion engine and an electric powertrain, and also it is like hybrid electric vehicle, but the difference between them is that in plug-in system, it uses electrical propulsion as the main driving force. So these vehicles require a bigger battery capacity than the hybrid electric vehicles. So this plug-in hybrid electric vehicle start in all electrical modes, runs on electricity, and when the batteries are low in charge, it calls on the ICE, that is internal combustion engine, to provide a boost or to charge up the battery pack. So this internal combustion engine is used here to extend the range, and also this plug-in hybrid electric vehicles can charge their batteries directly from the grid, which is not possible in your hybrid electric vehicles. So what is the main thing? In plug-in hybrid vehicles, it is similar to conventional hybrids in that they have both an electric motor and an IC engine. Except this plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, battery can be charged by plugging into an outlet. So what happens is, why to opt for this PHEV instead of the conventional hybrid is, it has an substitute electricity from the grid for gasoline. Then the Ford company in 2014, they launched this, and it is the way locomotive is made to run through 21 miles by only using electricity. Then the next test drive by the another company also they started, and they made the vehicles to run, to propel and to move a distance of 38 miles before the gasoline motor kicks off. Though this doesn't sound like a far ways, many people drive less than this distance each day. In a detailed survey, it is known that 54% of respondents reported driving less than 40 miles a day. Yes, the job going people, only the business people, the marketing people, they need to travel a lot. Whereas the remaining public people, those who are employed, they need to travel from their house to the office, back in the evening from office to house. Only in the weekends, they need to move to their natives. So automatically the consumption will be more in that case. And one more thing, moreover, using electricity instead of gasoline, it is cheaper and cleaner for most people. Yes, the pollution-free system we can have. So the average cost to drive 100 miles on electricity is only rupees 260 rupees, compared to your IC engines, where 1000 rupees for driving 100 miles on petrol. Just a comparison cost, that's all. So coming to this plug-in hybrid vehicle, if we see that here the battery, where you can plug it with your household electricity given to the motor. This track is separate. Next one is from the fuel tank, it is given to the IC engine. So these are all the things where the battery charged using electricity accessed through plug, and how this is used, all these procedures for that. Coming to this plug-in hybrid vehicle diagram, many choices of vehicles is used, and it is used for long range of driving and versatile in the fuel source. Since two engines are used in this hybrid system, more maintenance will be there. And also it relies on the gasoline to power internal combustion engine in this case. Coming to the fuel cell electric vehicles in this, you see, so far you were seeing about electricity, battery, how that battery backup is there, how much distance it can drive with the help of this electricity instead of conventional fuels. All this we have seen. Now, in that itself, the next step of advancement is fuel cell electric vehicle is there. What it is done here, it is the fueling method is a hydrogen cylinder is given, connected to the fuel cell. From there, the fuel cell, the energy generated and stored is given to the motors in order to make the locomotive to propel. So for this, we are having an auxiliary supply unit, and also a hydrogen storage and mounting methods are there. So this fuel cell electric vehicle, it also go. Normally it is called as FCV vehicles, that is fuel cell vehicles. They got the name because the heart of such vehicles is fuel cells and use chemical reactions to produce electricity. So in that case, if hydrogen is the fuel cell, of choice of fuel cell vehicle to carry out this reaction. They are often called as hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. And this FCVs carry the hydrogen in a special high pressure tanks. Another ingredient for the power generating process is oxygen, which it acquires from the air sucked in the form, air sucked in from the environment. So electricity generated from the fuel cells goes to an electric motor which drives the wheels. And coming to this, the comparison of the vehicles, what we have seen so far. Suppose the type of electric vehicle, we can see that battery electric vehicle, hybrid electric vehicle or plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, then fuel cell electric vehicle we are having. In this case, suppose first the starting, the propulsion of the locomotive if we take, here electric motor drives. In your battery means it is solely dependent on the electricity supplied from the battery in order to drive the motor. Whereas in your hybrid electric vehicle, if we take, it is since the name itself is hybrid, either electrical motor generator set is used or your internal combustion engine is used for this purpose. In your fuel cell electric vehicles, only electric motor drives. And the energy system, if we take battery, we will tell. Now comes a new term called ultra capacitor. Capacitor we have known charging and discharging of energy. In that capacitor itself, we have given a name called ultra capacitor. We'll see what is the importance of that ultra capacitor. See, suppose pouring a water from the tumbler outside, how much force we can pour it out. Suppose in a big mug, if you are taking and pouring it out, how much water it will be expelled out. Like that, the charge from the ultra capacitor is given as more compared to your normal capacitor, which makes the turbo size locomotives to propel. Starting, you are telling high torque is needed, thereby high current is needed. Automatically from the charge, we need to take the supply. For that, ultra capacitor is used. Here, hybrid electric vehicles also battery or ultra capacitor, whereas all the way we are having internal combustion engine generating unit. Here in fuel cells, only fuel cell is the source for the energy system we are having. So in that fuel cell, if you take the energy source, whatever it is, there means it is hydrogen or methanol or gasoline or ethanol. Any of this combination is used. Next, coming to the system, here in hybrid electric vehicle, gasoline stations is there, electric grid charging facilities is there. Next, electric grid charging facilities alone is available for battery electric vehicles. Characteristics, if we take in battery electric vehicles, no byproduct, so zero emission. Whereas in your hybrid electric vehicle, since even though electric vehicle plays an important role, we need that some part we need to take internal combustion engines help in order to make the locomotive to propel at a faster rate. So definitely we will be having here the low emission. And a higher fuel economy will be there, commercially available system. This is normally available vehicles. Now coming to this fuel cell also, here also it is zero emission, independence on fossil fuels. That is, it doesn't depend on it. Next, high energy efficiency, under development and in future that trend, this will fuel cells will be the replacement for this energy store. Next, what are all the major issues in your battery electric vehicle or your hybrid system or your fuel cell system is in your battery is limitation of the battery. Only short range, the battery capacity, how we are telling in your home we are having UPS battery and we are telling that this UPS battery will support for 6 hours if we turn on one light and one fan. That much only capacity of the battery is there. That is the limitation. So short range. Whereas your hybrid electric vehicle dependence on fossil fuels, and it is also since two engines, two sets we are having, one is your electric motor, another one is your IC engine, the maintenance, everything, the circuit will be itself complex in this case. If we go for this fuel cells, it is high fuel cost, and since still the reactions taking place, the chemical reactions, anode and cathode side, the gas emitted by byproduct given in this fuel, since the lack of infrastructure is there to this. Still more detail it is given in this table. We can see how the problems were there. That is battery price we didn't see there in electric vehicle, and charging time, that is also an important one. Major issues we have seen these 2 points, and availability of charging stations. Every time we need we need to return back to our home. Not like petrol bunks, wherever it is there, either LPG gas can be filled or the fuel can be loaded. But here it is not so. If we are charging means we need to give to a price amount. Next is hybrid electric vehicle system. In this case, the main thing is the management of energy sources. So this is very, very important, and many researchers have started that both mechanical as well as the electrical side, the combination of it, how that energy management is done in order to economize the cost, the fuel cost. Either it is an electricity or it is a gasoline. That management has to, energy management study has to be done. What you will call it as nowadays energy auditors. Like that, this has to be clearly known. Next is the battery and engine size optimization. Once since both are used, it has to be optimized, then only the efficiency will be increased. Coming to the fuel cell, here the cost of fuel cell is high. Feasible way to produce fuel cells we need to find out. Availability of fueling facilities. And this is your EV components overview. How it is used. What is that? See, we can see that what are all that dependence on it. This is a moderate interaction or very high interaction we can take. Either if we take the body design in an electric vehicle component, we can see the body structure. Structure is easier. That energy management can be done with this. So next, the next point is important one we can see in this case, what are all that facilities it is required. Here we can see the main thing, body structure means frame, bumpers, suspensions, batteries, all this are there. Next, energy sources, batteries and the battery chargers are there. So batteries, if you take, we can see the battery, what are all the parameters it is considered. To battery charger, we can see still more parameters. Now coming to the next part of it, the motors. So far we have seen what are all the hybrid electric vehicles available, and from there we need what are all the types of electric vehicles depending on the specification, application wise we have categorized into. The very first one is only battery operated electric vehicle, next one is hybrid system, and in that hybrid system itself plug-in hybrid system we have seen. Then we have seen what is the fuel cost cells and how these fuel cells were used. Now, based on this availability of the electricity, what is the type of motor you need to choose for the propulsion of that locomotive? Either it is for load pulling, commercial traction, or it is for light vehicle traction, the heavy vehicle traction. Based on that, analyzing the we know we have studied the characteristics of the DC motors, AC motors and all. Based on that, which characteristics suits to this particular application, that type of motor has been implemented to that locomotive. So where we have seen that DC series motor, many characteristics we have studied, and we have seen that DC series motor always to be started with the load. It should not be started with no load, because it is directly seriously connected to the current system. More current will be given. If it is connected directly means it will, the rotation it will be our high speed it will be, so the process is difficult. Coming to the next is brushless DC motor. Then permanent magnet synchronous motor, which is the new trend emerged in the market, and it finds a unique place to that. Then your three-phase induction motor, which is a older traditional one, and switched reluctance motors, SRM motors are there. Now, first we all know that DC motors, we can see that DC series motor and how it is used. It has a high starting torque that we know. So capability of DC series motor is suitable for the traction system, that too particularly in your railway traction, where tons of weight it can make to pull propel with load, it will be started. That is why DC series motor always to be started with load. So it was most widely used in motor for traction application in early 19th. Now, the advantage of this motor is easy speed control and can also withstand a sudden increase in load. That is the thing. Next is all these characteristics. We have seen the performance characteristics, mechanical characteristics, speed torque characteristics, for how the efficiency and your load current will vary, or how the power output is there. All this theory we know. So this makes ideal for the traction motor. Only limitation is DC series motor is having a high maintenance. Why high maintenance? Since the term DC, you are connecting the commutator windings, brushes are there. Once brushes are there, the carbon deposit will be there. We need to periodically maintain that system. Cleaning process has to be done in order to improve the efficiency of the system. The next is the main draw. Then these motors are used in Indian railways, as if I told, because in railway traction, only that is why we can see there is a separate EB line connected for the railway traction. Pantograph type collectors are used in order to take the power with, so that locomotive has to propel. That engine alone we are telling with 20 coaches are there. Sometimes we will tell in our normal language, double engine this train is. Why it is so? It has to be pulled with load, heavy load. So this motor comes under the category of DC brushed motors. That's all about this DC series motor. Now coming to the second category, brushless DC motors, as we all know that with the, similar to DC motor with permanent magnet, as the name indicates itself, it is brushless since it have no commutator and brush arrangement. So how this commutation is done? Electronic commutation is done in this case. Therefore, the main advantage, if we tell, means this brushless DC motors have traction characteristics like high starting torque, high efficiency, around 95 to 98%, etc. So it is suitable for high power density design approach. And these motors are most preferred motors for the electric vehicle application due to its traction characteristics, good traction characteristics it possesses. In this BLDC motor, based on its construction type, two types it is categorized. One is outer runner type BLDC motor. That is, the rotor of the motor is present outside and the stator is present inside. Normally, the stationary part will be outside, the rotor will be kept inside. That is, we will tell in induction motor, the rotor is fused inside the stator, then only magnetic locking is done. The perfect, that efficiency is good, all this will tell. It will drag this rotor to rotate. Whereas here, it is the reverse way. It is also called as hub motors because the wheel is directly connected to the exciter rotor. I will show you to the diagram. This type of motors does not require external gear system arrangement. In other cases and all, a gear wheel is required. There some amount of transmission of the energy through the gear wheel, through the propeller, there some amount of energy will be wasted. We will tell the gear ratio is this much, the crankshaft speed has to be increased. All these terminologies will be there. Whereas here it is not so. Now the next is, the motor makes the overall vehicle less bulky as it does not require any gear system. So that the weight itself will be reduced, mounting space will be more. So it eliminates the space required for mounting the motor because gear wheel arrangement is not there. And there is a restriction on the motor dimensions which limit the power output in the in-runner configuration. This motor is widely preferred by electric cycle manufacturers. So many given that nowadays bicycles or two-wheelers and all. Used two-wheeler manufacturers like 22 motors, NDS Echo motors. I'll show you that diagram how it is used. The second type category in this is in-runner type BLDC motor. What is it done is the rotor of the motor is present inside and stator is outside. Looks like normal conventional motors. But these motors require an external transmission system to transfer the power to the wheels. Here the word external transmission system means gear wheels. Normally we will tell. So because of this, the outrun configuration is little bulky when compared to the in-runner configuration. And also many three-wheeler manufacturers like that Konak electric motors or many companies is that they are used BLDC motors. Next point is low and medium performance scooter manufacturers also use BLDC motors for propulsion. See here we can see that how that outer runner type it is there, no gear wheel is there, directly it is connected to the wheel of it to rotate. Whereas here in this case, inner runner type, this complete setup is connected to a gear wheel system. Now coming to the next type, that is permanent magnet synchronous motor. What it happens in this case is, it is also similar to your BLDC. But here the word comes permanent magnet. To the rotor it is connected. So based on this arrangement, the traction characteristics are like high power density and high efficiency. But the main difference is that the permanent magnet synchronous motor has sinusoidal back EMF, whereas BLDC has trapezoidal back EMF. So the permanent magnet synchronous motors are available for higher power ratings. So PMSM is the best choice for high performance application like cars, buses, etc. Now, despite the high cost, your permanent magnet synchronous motor is providing stiff competition to induction motors due to its increased efficiency. And now most of the automotive manufacturers uses this type of motors for their hybrid electric vehicles. Certain companies' name it is given where they use this PMSM for the propulsion. Three-phase induction motors is, we can see it here. The induction motors do not have a high starting torque like DC series motors. That we know that. Under fixed voltage and fixed frequency operation, since it is an AC motor, here comes the word frequency also to be taken into consideration. And also we know that many methods were there. Here we are having its characteristics can be altered by using many control techniques. One is your V by F technique, another one is your field oriented control techniques are there. Then coming to this induction motor, it can be designed up to an efficiency of 92 to 95%. And the drawback of an induction motor is that it requires complex inverter circuit and the control of the motor is difficult in this case. That is the only main limitation of the system. Coming to the switched reluctance motors, which is in the upcoming category. Here, this motor is a category of variable reluctance motor with double saliency. That is, the rotor of SRM is a piece of laminated steel with no bindings. That is important one. Or permanent magnets on it. So automatically, this makes the inertia of the rotor less, which helps in high acceleration and suitable for high speed application. This is the newly emerged technique where many researchers were now proceeding with their work. So this SRM also offers high power density and some required characteristics of electric vehicles. Since the heat generated is mostly confined to the stator, it is easier to cool the motor. The biggest drawback of SRM is the complexity in control and increase in the switching circuit. So completely it is having that control process with the help of your power electronic chopper circuits, and with that we need to do how the switching states can be changed. So how many switching states are required in order to make this motor to run effectively with the load characteristics, right? The next one is how, based on that, so far we have seen all the types of motors and how the selection criteria based on this can be done. For selecting the appropriate electric vehicle motors, we have to first list down the requirements of the performance that the vehicle has to meet, the operating conditions and cost with it. Because while coming to the market, the marketing technique, if the two competitors are there and one is at a low cost, it is given, one at a high cost with the good efficiency is given, the customer satisfaction, the word comes. Immediately they will move to the cheapest one and they will search for what are all the benefits we are having that. See, each and every product we need a competitor. Definitely it will be there. Why we have given the name called a separately China product? In our normal languages we are speaking, this is a branded one, this is a China product. Why China product? It does all that requirements, all that things satisfied. But its lifetime, if you take, it is very less. Or its efficiency, you take, it is very less. That is that now the brand name have given. So now the people has become the alertness that if they take any of the product, either washing machine or air conditioning device or any of the things we purchase, immediately we are asking how many star it has, the star rating. Previously and all, when we purchase anything, it is ISO certified, we will ask. But now we are asking what is the star rating, 3-star or 5-star? Because if we increase the star rating, it is a branded one, lifelong life it is there, its efficiency is good, power consumption is less. All these come satisfies. Less means it is not comparatively less. Power consumption is also taken into consideration compared to other products, because they will tell after 1 month it will take 2 units extra because its lifetime it is gone. That is local brand they are telling. Not like that. The standardized one. All these were given. So for example, one vehicle they have started, go-kart vehicle, and a two-wheeler application which requires less performance, less than 3 kilowatts only the capacity. At low cost, it is good to go with the BLDC hub motors. Right. Next is for 3-wheelers and 2-wheelers. It is good to choose BLDC motors with or without an external gear system. For high power applications like performance 2-wheelers, cars, buses, trucks and ideal motors, choice would be the PMSM motors. Because with a higher rating, it needs to pull with the load, high load it is there. Once we go for synchronous reluctance motor or SRM motors are made cost effective as your permanent magnet synchronous motor, then we can tell that it is the one to having options of the motor types for the electric vehicle application. Because of this cost only, we are still here with the PMSM motors. So to this motors, what are all the motor components you need? We have told that we have taken the motor system. Now what are all its components required in order to drive it? It needs a controller. It needs that energy storage system. That is, you are telling it rightly as battery, hybrid power units. Then we are telling transmission. So now this thermal management system, here you are telling normally in cars we will tell this as radiator we will tell. Now previously long back and all in cars, ambassadors and all, we need to pour water. If the radiator is boiling they will tell. But nowadays it is not so. We are filling with a permanent coolant recycling process. So hybrid unit, how this transmission of this gear takes place here. So where the traction motor is connected, energy storage, here fuel tank. So both the things were there. One thing we need to see, even though we add all this, the weight of the vehicle has to be maintained, and also we need to say that then only the efficiency of the system is increased. So you take this electric motor controllers, means controllers, the word comes automatically, it is an electronics device. So advanced electronics allows the motor to act as a generator. It draws energy to accelerate, regenerates the battery when slowing down. Next is motor uses magnets and magnetism to create motion in this case. This is the normal system where it is connected with your engine. The electric motor system is also connected to it. Next is the motor components. If you move on to this, we can see that storage devices. Normally we will tell lithium ion batteries or nickel metal hydride batteries is used. Then we will tell we will be having ultra capacitors and flywheels were there. Some energy storage devices, that's all. Here, electric energy storage systems is what are all its attributes you need is high peak and pulse specific power, high specific energy at pulse power, then high charge to maximize regenerative braking, long life. If these considerations satisfy, then we will tell it is a good storage system. Otherwise, like your mobile phones, what we are telling, charge nikka mattingudhu, charge illa. That normal language we are telling why it is so. It is not able to withstand. Its lifetime is reduced. How that lifetime we are telling? To a battery, they will be telling that charging and discharging, it will take 9,000 times, or complete charge and complete discharge, or 1 lakh times we will tell. That depends upon the number of cycles it can withstand its capacity. How that number of cycles it can withstand its capacity, we are telling based on the chemical reaction taking place. That is why we are telling it is lead acid battery, lithium ion battery, or sodium battery, or whatever it is. Based on that chemical reaction, how that it resists its property, that specific values. Then challenges what we are having, it is of accurate techniques to determine battery state of charge and develop abuse tolerant batteries or recyclabilities. Coming to this batteries and uses its life cycles, we have given a tabular column how the comparatively mainly nickel metal hydride batteries are used in your electric vehicles. Now only lithium ion is coming into the market to emerge into, but still currently it is used in laptops and cell phones. Not they have given to that electric vehicles. Here life cycle, here it is low. Yes, your mobile phone after 2 years automatically we are changing the mobile phone. Not only for the brand or updation we are changing. Above that the battery life itself will be lost. Then only we will tell the charge is not withstanding. Daily I have to put for every 2 hours charge of that phone. Battery is easily degrading it. That is the life cycle. Whereas here, we can't replace in your electric vehicles frequently the battery since it is the main cost of that electric locomotive. So it has to give a larger life than lead acid batteries. By lead acid batteries, that is we are using in our homes and all for UPS, everything, it is of longer life. That is the main thing. Then only you can give complete warranty is given for 10 years, 20 years. Then only the locomotive will be successful in the market. Next is the current contribution successfully in low production of hybrid electric vehicles. And the challenges you take, these are all the challenges it has to come. Then any limitations or miscellaneous is there? Reasonable specific energy and power components are recyclable, that is abuse tolerant. Whereas if you take in this case, high specific energy and power, high energy efficiency, good high temperature performance is there, recyclable parts are there or not. Because we are using the batteries while disposing or to make it into the, we are removing it, we have to careful in the battery system. That is very, very important in this case. Then energy storage, that is ultra capacitor. What I have discussed there in that itself, abundantly giving of this energy. It is also used as a storage device. For starting, we are telling no capacitor start induction motor, high starting torque is required. That is why from the capacitor it charges, double revolving theory, everything we have studied in the single phase induction motor theory. The similar procedure, that is in the ultra capacitor, what it takes is store energy as an electric charge in polarized liquid layer between an ionically electrolyte and a conducting electrode. Why it is so is, it is mainly used for acceleration, climbing hills and regenerative braking, where you need more energy to come across the gravity. So this is the ultra capacitor setup, what we are having this battery power. And next is your charging or discharging of the battery. Some links what we are having to display it is first driving at low speed, city driving, highway driving, uphills, coasting, all these scenarios we need to consider in order to choose the type of motor where it is you applicable. Normally, if the vehicle is in the plains, it is running means two-wheeler or four-wheeler within that 50-40 kilometers per day it is running, then it is a separate type of motors we need to use. Trucks we need to use, certain trucks with refrigeration to carry medicines or preservative foods and all it is there means their air conditioning system also has to be turned on in the complete progress of the vehicle. So based on that, if it is a vehicle which transports the materials from the bottom of the hill to the top, Nilgiris if we take means, there what we need to have that uphill driving system. That is a high capacitor, that where we have seen that ultra capacitors are used. Like that it is needed. So the last is about the braking system. So we need to know which type of braking has to be used in order to arrest that locomotive with that heavy load. Suppose if it is a heavy vehicle system. If it is your cars or your two-wheelers means, again it is of less type we can implement it. See, when the driver brakes, the motor becomes a generator. And the kinetic energy generates electricity stored into the battery. That is, we are telling in the electric locomotive, in your railway traction and all, free running period. Whereas in the bikes and all, if we see nearby our house, if we are coming, automatically we'll turn off the engine and we'll make it to propel with the kinetic energy which is having generated by its own. So it will move to certain meters with the energy. Based on this type of braking, the Toyota company is about to 30% of heat lost kinetic energy from the braking they have taken. We can see how the system is arranged in this. And coming to this, finally, hybrid power units, how it is used is, one is of compression, ignition, direct injection engine, CIDI. Next, spark ignition engines, gas turbines, fuel cells. And based on that, we can see how that benefits, which company is taken, what are its process it is going, how the Toyota company and Honda company, you are telling no, while purchasing the vehicle itself, Honda means petrol consumption will be more, but good mileage, good drive, it will be there, smooth driving. All this based on the engine capacity it is given. So these were some of the examples taken by the companies, how it is made to run. That is electric motor, generator, power storage means what type it is required to the battery type or the amount of energy required, what type of transmission, how it is used, how much horsepower it is required in order to maintain the speed, and what is the rating of that system, the company's output. Now, after seeing all this, if we move to our side, research oriented, how to make it, what is the advantage we can make still more efficient of that system. If we see, we can see that this is that weight allocated in a truck if you take, and how that battery arrangement is there. So based on this, where is the tire pressure, rolling resistance, losses is there, right? If we replace, see why we are giving importance to this battery means it is also again a weight to the truck. Already that commercial weight is there. This electrical weight is also the battery weight is there. So where it has to be placed, and how if you place it, the energy loss model in commercial EV trucks, practically it is used. They will tell the word called full payload for that. So this is one of the research under a scholar from Bosch company they have done in this under my guidance, and they have successfully completed. So what they have done is this tire pressure they have taken based on this, instead of moving up to this, they have replaced it with the scalable batteries, optimized. So losses due to inertial with respect to the play load, it is there. And this aerodynamic resistance that we know that normally that vehicle resistance will be there. So based on this technique, what are all the performance characteristics we can improve is how to implement to our research work. If you take an approach of applying machine learning, this ML is now the current topic for battery optimization and range prediction of electric commercial vehicles. Since based with this, we need to have the development of whatever work we do, the pilot study, the priority one we will give with the help of the MATLAB or Simulink model and determine the parameters of the commercial electric vehicle using conventional method. Then what we will do with this model, it determines the parameters of commercial electric vehicle using multivariate linear and non-linear regression models. The next step of it, what it will do, using random forest based machine learning algorithms. Many ML algorithms is that, in that we will take one which is suited to this truck system. And based on that, the performance characteristics are calculated. Then the performance comparison and analysis of the aforementioned methods were discussed. Based on that, which one is suited, we are moving it. And one such type, what we are trying to implement in the research is the hybrid system with the battery bank to charge the battery or to give directly to the vehicle on the rooftop in the household. Wind, you take a small wind turbine with this capacity of 1 kilowatt or 1 watt, it is sufficient. Wind turbine is taken with the solar PV array what we are installed in the rooftop, and if they are having the controllers where it is given the battery to load the battery. From the battery, it is either given to the house commercial loads or with the help of an inverter which is given to the household electrical things, or directly we need to charge the battery. It is taken from here to the vehicle battery. Why we are telling here is, this is again a research point. While we are loading this DC load from the battery bank, normally we will make our electric vehicles in the house, which is now available in the market, to charge during night time. Why it is so is, during night time, mostly our refrigerator will come within 1 hour to the standstill condition. That is required temperature it will reach. We won't open or close it, losses will not be there. The secondary one, many of the light fittings or motors, grinder, mixie, whatever the heaters, nothing will be on the operation. Your load will be ideal. Only the minimum load we will be having our air conditioning to certain hours. After that, the fan will be there. Once the air condition also reaches the temperature, it goes to the standstill mode. So now we can take from the battery to this load. This is the battery management technique what we are achieving. Right? And at that time, during night time, the solar will not be there. Only good wind velocity will be there, which will charge the battery, and from the battery, the vehicle can be charged. This is the one method. During daytime, what happens in this hybrid system is, see, this is a real application I'm talking about it. Even though it is away from the electric vehicle, let it be there. I'll give you some points to this. During daytime, what happens? We are having here a block called either any of this point, one maximum power point controller we can have, or otherwise one more optimized controller we can have. What has it done is, whichever is required, if suppose during daytime the solar energy generated is sufficient, this is directly connected to the load instead of connecting to the battery. If it is during, because solar is sufficient to run the appliances in the daytime, whatever it is there. Suppose if wind is sufficient, at that time it is given directly from the wind to the load, it is given. If it is not sufficient, then from the battery, the additional charge is taken. This is one method. Suppose if this battery itself is not there, this energy management technique, if it is there, any one will be supporting the domestic load, the other load will be given to the grid. Thereby, the another word will come called as the smart metering system. So here, based on all this, if we take electricity consumption today, it is 389 units. Whereas the global average, if you take, it is 1000. If we keep on increasing our own convenience electrical appliances, then the electrical consumption will be definitely 1000 will be there. Why from here to here drastically increased? When we are using this, that is when our school days, there is no mobile phone, no air conditioning in every houses it is there, no electrical gadgets is there to charge laptop or computers and all. Only in schools, colleges, we will have the computer systems. But now what happens? To each and every individual, we are having all the electricity appliances because electricity is a parallel working segment with us in the daily morning. That too, particularly ladies, if we take, we are also going to the work premises. What happens if electricity is not there from morning 6 to 10 or 9, 2 hours maintenance or 6 to 8 power cut is there? Means first step what we ladies will do, we will immediately make a call to our senior and we will tell today 1 hour permission because our work will not be over within the time. Because the grinder has to run, the mixer has to work, the iron box has to do the work, geyser has to be turned on for hot water. All these satisfies, then only we can move. If this parallel working gadget is not there, then our work will be slowed down. We don't know the mixer without mixing how to manage with the next step. Because now and all multi-storage building, apartment like system only we are living. So what happens to the next? We don't have time to have the traditional grinding mechanism with the stones and all. So now coming to this is the scenario of our country. So to improve this, what we need a word called smart. What is that smart? Coming to the previous one, we speak smart metering we have implemented. That is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic time. That is called a real-time application, what we are speaking. So to that system, we need to adopt. To adopt this real-time application, to make this smart, we need to generate power to certain extent to satisfy our load. That is why the rooftop hybrid systems I have shown to you. So if we do all this, then we can think that how this grid integration is done, how to achieve it, and how this fluctuating renewable energies can also be connected. That is your smart grid, the word comes. To that system called your main process is your smart grid connecting to that distributed generation. Another word has come in the electrical system. So to this, based on this only, we can come to the maximum customer satisfaction. How it is done? The two words is that electrification versus energification. How to achieve this? If we know a solution to this, our power demand and also this electric vehicle launching into the market, everything will be success. That is power for all. This word is there. How it comes? Versus power on demand, whichever is necessary, that we need to give importance to this. Right? So thank you very much. I hope I have taken much more time of yours.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your excellent and useful presentation. You have covered many topics and it is very useful and informative. Dear participants, do you have any clarifications?
Sir, madam, sir, and all, any clarification, even though we are also learners in this electric vehicle, we are not industry manufacturing people. So if you share, we also can know or enrich our knowledge. Or if you can discuss the doubts in the afternoon, well and good. In the afternoon section, I'll complete. Just in the afternoon, I'm giving what are all the standards, what is the importance of it, how our country has also taking part in this electric vehicle manufacturing and achieving it in a success rate. Yes, Please, any doubts or any ideas you can share. We are ready to accept it.
Sure. Otherwise, as Madam told, you can have a discussion in the afternoon session. In the third session also, Madam is going to handle the session. So, thank you, Madam.
Okay, madam, we'll join by 2 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you to all. Thank you for your patient listening.
Excuse me, madam.